Okay, so this one I'm not going to do quite like last week where I did it for like 10 hours and whatever. But this is kind of a good way to do it. This is almost how I did it on LIchess, which isn't really my normal format, but I normally play it Tuesday, Wednesday anyway. So this will just be like I'll go until I lose one. So that's what I would do with 30-minute games because they were so exhausting. Like, you can't go on bad streaks because you just can't go on streaks, period. You either win or that's it. Or like if I draw, it's okay too. I'm not obsessed with chess. I only play it twice a week. Meanwhile, I find ways to do it even now, or like even just I'll play Neverwinter Nights and I'll play chess in that, or I'll play what's the other game, Roblox, and I'll find a way to play chess in that. Did I play it in Dreams? They must have had some sort of chess version for that too. So here you want to escape to there, right, as a general standard, but it's not such a high priority. In fact, people would even tell you you don't really have to worry about it, but you could almost try to trade that instead, because again, the bishop is a better piece than the knight, just objectively, period. So that's just objective fact in the game. Again, I'll never vouch for it. It's like, oh, it's my favorite thing to do, or I like it so much. I just say it more like I don't have time. Or, I mean, it's more time consuming, so you kind of have to do it this way. That's the only thing. So it's a demerit against the game. It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. It's just more time consuming. That's it. Doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter how far you get. It just takes forever. Period. And so that's why even when I say, oh, I don't study, people are like, oh, you know, you don't need to study. But what they mean by their definition of studying for like better players is like they're studying for literally years. I'm just talking about even on a surface level, just a little bit, just like opening theory, basic things. Handy hillbilly, but he didn't even use the hillbilly opening. Now everything should be fine with this position. Just don't hang anything. We have to play a little bit safe and just think about what I'm doing. If I calculate to my fullest, I'm pretty hard to beat, but I often don't do that. Or I get real lapses towards the end of the game. Like, I'll be up material, and then I'll either turn it into a draw, or I'll turn it somehow into a loss. Just because, like, you can get away with doing this, but you don't have to do it. You got to get in the habit of don't try to force stuff. Don't just do trades just for the sake of it, because those can sometimes be bad moves. 1128. Like, do you really think, in all my honor as a chess player, like, do you really think I'm an 1100 player? But apparently, that's part of the problem, is that you have to give your maximum effort every game. You can't just try to coast through it. So my normal move here would almost be to go there, and it's kind of okay because he's forced to take, otherwise I double take. There's nowhere else he can go with it. And so that's not actually a bad move here. It's normally a bad move because you go there and take this knight, and then I have to take with that because you're blocking your own cover. Okay, that's also something I didn't really account for, but it's okay, I guess. I wasn't thinking that he could that he could take that. I could have just moved that back. Again, and going for a trade never gets me in trouble. Now you could use this to sort of take, and then you'll still be fine between those two pawns. But that's not terrible. It was just sort of unexpected. I'm giving him these strong diagonals, and there's not much of a thing I can do to stop it. You'd almost just do this right away. Just like you can undouble the pawn, period. If not, we can go there and it'll be fine too. If he takes, I take, and it's all good. Still covered by the queen. This one's not covered by anything. It's not very hard to undouble pawns as much as people treat getting a double pawn like a death sentence. So now I wouldn't want to take. So I just won't. He's blocking his own diagonal there, which is weird. If he does that, we also get to undouble. He's going to try to take there. I could almost go like this. I sometimes don't know, but I can't do it, actually. Can't take there. So he's going to take, I'll take. he won't be able to even take. I almost just want to move the king, period, just so that you can advance the other pawn, and then we could connect like that, or there's not much I can do to cover that piece, so, or you know what, he gets to double take because I'm also stupid from the knight, not from the bishop. So I could go like this, and then I could take. This is kind of what I wanted to do, but it's arguably not a good structure. In fact, it's definitely not. He's double attacking there, though, too. So he'd be able to come there, and then I could take back with the knight. Otherwise, it would be a fork. He's not going to be able to stick around there. There's nowhere he can go besides back. He's only up one pawn, but this is a very indicative level of play. But at least here, there's a sense of consequence. Like, I can't tank my rating because, well, first of all, I can't lose much more. I have to, if I go below 11, I just lose. But I can only lose one. So if I want it to be this one, then so be it. There's nothing I can do to get myself to psychologically try to do this. You fork there, that's okay too. You'd go here, you'd be double attacking that. This is not the most dangerous spot ever for a bishop to be in, but we'll try to double take on here. You can be very tunnel vision at this level, which is a big part of the problem. Just either losing to a 1083. Like, you'll focus only on what they're doing, not on what I'm doing, or vice versa. So I could take, and then something bad would be sure to happen, though. They should almost take with that first. Then I could take, but he could still do the same thing. Right? You'll pin it down, and then I won't be able to do anything. But even when it seems like a low-rated player gives you a piece, they don't, because they're just too good for that, I guess. You could take there as well. This could have been set up. That's like a bait. We get the rook. But I'll still be -2 even after it. Takes, I take. Yeah, see, like I was just mocking the idea. Low-rated player can't just make a genuine mistake. But I made like 50 already. So I'm almost conditioning him to the fact that I am so bad. So then he won't question that. Or it might be that he's trapped altogether, but he's not. He's actually pretty close to it, though, no? I mean, now he definitely won't be. He can't go there, 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 can't go there. He could go there. I mean, he probably just won't get trapped no matter what. Okay, we could try to attack this way. There's only a -2. A lot of swing back and forth, alligator tooth evaluation type of game. So you can't take there either. You could take there. This is just getting better and better. You could take here, and then he shouldn't have recourse against it. If you give a check, it's not a big deal. You can't give it. You can't attack the queen from the back rank. So -2 is still drawable by most standards, but this one pawn is very weak on the left side. Could go like that, but he'll take there, obviously. If I go here, you could bring the rook, but you really can't. Can't do anything with the bishop. It's very misused. He's also attacking there, though, so that's kind of difficult. You could check on the back rank, but it doesn't actually do anything. I could go here. The double stack seems pointless, but at least good for the purpose of just covering everything. Yeah, this one pawn is very weak, and it's very important, too. That's the whole difference in the game is, of course, these two pawns. covering that, which was not even really my priority. We could trade the queen, and you really shouldn't do that here, but these are all my bad tendencies still. I'm not really putting forth a good effort yet again. Like if you're him, you should trade in a heartbeat, but +2 might not seem like that big of a deal, but it should really stand out more when you don't have the queen to lean on. And he basically has no choice, but he still does. I'd be shocked if he doesn't take it, though. You could go here, you could go there. I have to play really well with the knight, which can sometimes outshine and outperform the bishop, but it really just depends on, you know, you're playing around the color, which I'm not even doing at all. This pawn has to really hold up, which is going to be difficult to do. Or I could do it in such a way that we get basically an octopus knight from this, which is weird, but it is a good spot, and he's kind of, the worst decision he's made is to constrain the space of his own bishop. Just because it's a better piece objectively doesn't mean it's so good in the hands of somebody who's so bad. Myself included. He has to cover the bishop 100%, or he could go back. If he goes back, I take. If he covers, now I should double attack this. So then I would take, he would take, I would take. And again, if you move back, you're giving that up anyway. So that horrible, awful, horrendous bishop positioning is coming back to bite him. And my knight won't get trapped or anything. You can preserve the octopus knight capability. Pushing that side pretty hard. I don't know if I should react to it. You go here. I would take. He would take. I could still take. It doesn't seem that bad. Almost want to get the knight just out of harm's way, so we recovered the one pawn. Now it should be drawable 100%. It's very easy to turn either leads into draws because you're just too overconfident, or it's easy to turn seeming losses into draws too, just the way it works. So you don't want to let him through, really. If I attack there, it doesn't actually do anything. This is kind of a cute position, but I'm gonna watch out for the diagonal, but again, it's kind of so sealed off, it's gonna take him forever to do anything with it. It's not that you couldn't use it here, it's just so inconvenient that any decent player, which neither of us are anyway, would ever be able to do anything about it. You could come like up to there, so it doesn't do me much good. You could go there, try to attack these. If he keeps going, it's fine. If he takes, it's also fine. So which one should I really take with? He would take, I would take, I could cover. I kind of don't want them to even be on the light squares though, period. You could check here and take, but then he could still cover there. Almost just incorporate the king, bring it in a little bit. We're sealing off his bishop pretty well, but it's not really my doing because he could have just chosen not to do that. Now we have a fork potential, so you could almost do anything with the you can almost do anything with the rook. And if he just leaves his rook there, then we'll be in good shape. But he won't do it. He'll give me a check. Now, if you just leave him there, surely he's not so bad that he's going to miss that, but you never know. With the ups and downs of players like me, we don't even have to win. We can draw, and I'll still keep going. So then I'll end up losing the 28 rating, or he still preserves the fork even then. Amazing. You dodge one fork right into another, so I assume he wasn't really thinking about that. That was a terrible, terrible game. 6-6-6. And so what did I do that was wrong? We already gave up the pawn or what? But why? Oh, is it that cheeky fork thing? But that's still okay. You're not losing because of it. What am I losing because of? when I give up a couple pawns and I kind of was dejected. Whenever I try to make these, like, what are you supposed to do here? I always go for like a trade, just try to save the better piece. I can agree with that. And then maybe you could do it later. Wait, what was it? Just a great move to take back? Or no, it was a great move just to take. Wow. To trade a knight for a bishop is a great move. Yeah, this was horrible, but somehow we recover. That's a blunder. That's a great move. That's a blunder again. That's not even what you're supposed to do. So if I do this, it would be trapped, I would have to assume. Which I was even considering that it might be trapped, but I didn't think to use the knight of all pieces. That's my... No, you still don't trap it there, but you probably will be... No. You go here with the bishop. There's a 2-move sequence that traps it. Then you would have to go... You would have to go there. And then... from there, if I go here, then you can't take, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. Wow, that is actually amazing. So we created a scenario where we could have potentially trapped it. Okay, we just got to go on a really good streak. That just shows you can kind of salvage stuff very easily, though, right? Like, all you have to do is focus a little bit, but I'm still playing way below. I feel like I'm 1500, but I just don't play like that, so I can't really say it. Right, you are what you repeatedly do. Like, who said that? Aristotle or someone. Just, you have to actually do it. You can't just talk. You have to play every game and every move like it's so consequential. And I don't know how to make it any more so. Like, I do the permadeath style stuff anyway. Just that's what I do in everything in life. But it especially is relevant here. Like, why am I still not taking it fully seriously? Like, that was not a good game. I don't know. Like, all I ask is that I play to my potential, and then if you can still beat me, then fine, I'll take it. But I don't think you can. And by you, I mean anybody who's like 1500 or less or whatever. So you could almost just keep going, but I don't know what I'm trying to do there. You check here, and then you have to guarantee a trade. That's even fine. Like, as much as I question my own trade fiending tendencies, I don't really know, like, whether it's such a bad thing to do or not. Like, for example, here you can't do anything, so I want to bring the bishop there, but it just doesn't happen with this pawn. That's very annoying. If I put it here, you could attack it with the pawn, then I could just move it like there. I never know sometimes what to do with the knights. Like, aside from trying to trade them, you always got to trade off one early, and sometimes I trade a bishop off too early too much. Or now the mistake is, even if I go there, you could go there. But then I still don't have to take, but then that's a very strong pawn. And then that'll be a split pawn. Like, I take, you could still take. That's amazing, man. The knight is just a spectacular piece. I mean, I just can't believe it. Like, all you're trying to do is just basic early game development. You're not trying to do anything. But it's just too bad. If you don't trade a knight within, like, the first 5 moves, you just lose the game. That's how chess works. That was kind of a good reprieve, because now I at least have some space. You should have just kept going, because any scenario would have been worse. So now you go there, I could take, you go there, it's all good. I'm making these lapses, but I'm not getting punished for them, so I shouldn't be having that happen anyway. Don't you love that? Like, just losing in the opening because you don't know. I don't know what to do about that pawn. Like, I should just go there, but then I don't know what's going to happen with the darks for bishop either. You could do this, but it's not really a true pin anyway. You're double attacking there, which is okay. The worst case, he could go there. I could just take. He could just take. I don't like having the knight be a part of that factor, though, because then it does force you to take. So I could try to clear a space for the knight. He goes there, I could take, he could take. There's nothing wrong with that. This is an isolated pawn then that doesn't have any potential cover, and it's not a passed pawn either. And it would be like triple attack then. Arcana, I always find myself in all these defensive kind of openings because that's just how I play. That's not even under threat at all. But then again, if you had this, you could totally take, because then if he takes, then I take, but then he takes. So maybe overly ambitious, but there's nothing else going on. So I would take, he would, okay. Don't really need to still worry about that. So let's try to bring the bishop to the other side here. But I still don't know when or if that's going to become a relevant factor here. Even if you bring this, I could simply take. You could take. It would leave your pawn in kind of a questionable spot, and it wouldn't do anything bad to mine. I arguably wouldn't even have to take, but I probably should. These are the nuance levels you have to get to it at a mere 1200 rating, where you're basically, you'll come there and you'll double attack this, let's say. This is under a lot of pressure, but you have to somehow bounce this pawn out first. So maybe that is kind of the move you have to make. You have to cover this arguably with something else. Right, that is the next move that's coming, 100%. And the knights can't really fight it out that way, so you might even prefer just going like this. You go there, I could just take. I could also just do this, so it wasn't even entirely necessary. Now I'm second guessing my own idea, but that's fine. We can move this away. A little bit inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world. I go there, take. Now you could try to go there, but I could easily take. If you put something behind there, I could do the same idea of taking, but only if I was like double stacked. Even now it doesn't work. I could try to just push this out, period. I was having a lot of trouble figuring out even what to do with the Dark Square Bishop, period, this whole game. But coming in seems out of the question, so you'll back off. I mean, that seems fine, because doesn't that pawn seem super weak? Never mind the fact that we should be winning this as well. There should be no repercussion for doing that. We attack the queen, he could attack it, I could come back. Gotta look out for potential fork opportunity, which I don't really see. You would have to go like there to allow it, or I don't even know where he could go. The attack there doesn't do anything. That one's just a sitting duck, easy target. Let's just go back. Or you could use this opportunity to just develop further and be like, okay, I'll just cover this and then we'll set up for something, but I think this is a reasonably safe place to put the knight. It's going to be hard for him to cover that. He brings that to the open file. Now, the temptation to trade is exactly what destroys me in these moments. So I have to be very disciplined about it. I go there, but it doesn't really do anything. He has the open file, but that's still going to take a while to materialize. This is a passed pawn, but it's not the time to worry about it. You could do this, but then he'll just bring the other one there. Like, he would take, I would take, he would come back. See, now is where you need sort of a plan. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Most of the time you can get away with just doing random stuff, which kind of informs a wrong style of play for you. Now you're setting up for a double attack as you're threatening the queen. He would want to come somewhere along the line like there. That might be the best move. So it stops me from coming in. It threatens here, which doesn't really need a cover, but completely ignoring that. And there's no threat posed by this. There's no bishop on the board, so everything is good. I'm just going to go with my idea. Now, you should lose one of these pawns guaranteed, or actually you don't at all, because I'm not accounting for the... I'm not accounting for that. The basic cover of the rook. All you have to do is save the one pawn. The better move would be, I guess, to cover it with the... So now, you might sack something for this, but I don't see the value in it. Like, you'll come there... You'll come there, and then I would take, but then you would take. So I don't have to take. I don't see what is so crazy about it. This is the kind of moment where, like, okay, I'm about to get mated. Whatever I do, he's going to do something crazy and just end me. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know where they come up with some of this stuff, but they just somehow know all these kind of crazy attacks. There's a temptation to go there, but really I shouldn't. I don't know what it does. That's the thing. It doesn't do anything. Like, I can't take it, but so what? Even then, I still couldn't take it, because I would take, he would take, I would take, he would still take, I would... It would be kind of worth it, though, because you're getting 3 things for 1. I gotta remember my knight is still going to be hanging there and be a total liability. In fact, I'll probably just lose it, the way this works. Like, just bring the queen in and I just lose the knight, because it's a garbage, worthless piece. Like, look at that. You can't do anything with it. My hatred of the knight isn't even irrational. It's just a shit piece. It's so easy to just punish it. Now, this shouldn't even matter because... Yeah, he can afford to do that because... Like, what does he get out of this? I still don't see, like, how he's gonna mate. You could even try to just trade queens, and we should be in relatively good shape. Nothing that he's getting out of it. No check with the rook is going to be relevant either. So I don't know why he sacked the knight there even, but he could have gotten it back. Or he could still get it back. Look at this moment in chess history. I just want you to understand that. Forget about even that. I don't even care. You were going to get it anyway. He'll take the knight, just put it out of his misery. Anywhere the queen went, it could have just stopped it from moving, and it was just dead. And I wouldn't have been able to cover. Just great. I wouldn't have even been able to sack for a pawn or something stupid like that. So try to keep the structure intact. This pawn seems very weak, but it'll take me like a century to finally take it. I can't take. He could take. I could take. It's kind of a good multifaceted threat. You're covering, you're attacking. If he doesn't take, I should be able to like double take. This won't be covered. I can almost just keep going like, oh yay, we got a pass pawn out of it, but I don't know that I'll really be able to protect it. Could be a bad decision, but what's the worst case? Like, we lose a pawn. I'm pretty much guaranteed to lose it, though. Let him take it. I'll take this instead. If he takes the pawn, I take back, and he doesn't even win anything out of it at all. It just kind of spaces out the pawns more, but then I'll have, like, 2 connected pass pawns, let's say. I could even just do this. Like, what's the problem? I lose absolutely nothing for my troubles. You can't even give a check. The biggest factor now becomes time. You try to escape to there. I'll try to create like a double stack. There's no meaning in that. And so, I mean, I'd be very in favor of trades at this point. We have 3 connected pass pawns, so we just got to try to march them. It shouldn't be that difficult, even as bad as I sometimes am at doing that. Right, 3 pawns can outfight a rook by itself, as long as the king is riding it like a vehicle. The watermelon slice gambit, whatever you want to call it. The only issue is time, but it shouldn't be much of an issue. You could go like there. That would be a little bit annoying because I can't do the trade then. This is kind of an octopus rook, I guess. Not really, but it's a good covering spot. You won't really be able to get to that. The trade is my dream come true, but it's important not to tunnel vision on the trade. You have to somehow see what is the best path to try to promote, and it almost might be the one that's away from the king. But wait, that just gives me the trade, period. Now, you would be pretty unlikely to try to trade queens, because then you would certainly lose. So if I can do that at any point, we'd be in good shape. Maybe I should move this one first just to check from there. Okay, I can't do it. Have to stay attached, ride it like the same watermelon type thing that I was talking about. It should be unlikely that you can give a perpetual check chain, though, because you don't have that much freedom of movement. Like, you have to still... Yeah, you still have to cross over like where the queen is and stuff. We could try to do it in such a way that we go there even. So he has to address the queen here more than anything, and that should just win me the game. You pin it down, you have to take... But that could have turned into something dangerous that I just wasn't paying attention to, so you obviously have to account for that too. We didn't play really that well. I did still make some mistakes. I don't even feel too good about that one. He's one step too late. I don't even want to over promote, but I guess I will. I'm not even doing it to BM, just to simplify. Now it almost just happened by accident. I'm not even thinking whether it's mate or not, as long as it's not stalemate. Like, I'm an expert at finding mates, but not the kind you think. Was it 74-67? If we actually look at that game in detail, we'll see that I didn't play particularly well. But yeah, they're just kind of letting me get away with stuff. But at least I took my time. That's fine, that's fine. You're going for basic trades. You're not supposed to actually do the trade, but you're supposed to raise that pawn there. So let me play that out and see the variation. Like, what are you supposed to do with the bishop exactly then? Like, the center pawns are very important to stop like that. That was a big inconvenience for me. But you're not supposed to take, you're supposed to take the pawn instead. So he did give the free pawn. I don't know why I was thinking that wouldn't work. I was more afraid of him pushing it than actually doing anything with it. Maybe I was still in the mindset of the king being behind it, so then you feel like you're going to lose it. Of course, it's a miss to take a free pawn with it. Blunder. I don't know why these moves are what they are, though. Let's try to understand a little bit. Good way to just take a break between games, which I already have to do just because... Like, so you're supposed to go here with the pawn, right? Go there even before you castle. Now, here's the problem. What is the Dark Square Bishop going to do the whole game? And so we should almost play it out and see what it is that you're supposed to do. Where are you just trying to get it? It just doesn't give you any feedback sometimes. I don't know how it works. Like, these aren't moves that actually happen, but I need like some sort of other engine capability. He takes there, so I'm supposed to move the pawn up. The only question is, how does the game progress now? Maybe if I understood how to read these, I would know what it's trying to say you would do. So you're supposed to push the pawn. Then what am I supposed to do is the big question. Just, like, how do I use the bishop? You're not going to put it there, or maybe you still put it there, and you assume at some point that's going to become relevant. You just put it behind two pawns like it is a pawn itself. Or is it just because I keep guessing the correct move that it doesn't tell me? Like, what am I supposed to do as white? Knight e5 was played, but tell me whether it's good or not. Like, what? Sometimes it does, sometimes it won't. Or it does take a while. Like, I don't need the perfect depth of stockfish either. Maximum depth. You're supposed to bring the bishop there, attacking totally the other side. That's why it's so intuitive for me, right? Because this is what I'm doubting. Like, I want to put it there. I don't want to block it. But maybe it's okay to do that sometimes. Let's look at the rest of the bad moves. I don't like getting away with stuff like this because you just know it's not good. So it's very concerned about that one pawn, the d4. The mistake to do that trade. So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to just take the free pawn, knowing that he could take a free pawn too. And so, because you're attacking the queen. Or wait, it's not even a free pawn, but... Wait, I don't even get it. There must be some reason why he can't do this. Let's try to figure it out while the engine tries to figure it out. Let's see who's faster at coming up with the answer. That's the best, but you're in a good spot. You just sack the knight. You just sack the knight for a pawn, seemingly inexplicably. And you're going to lose another pawn here anyway. You just make a move that's a dummy move just to try it. There must be something you're doing here that is actually good to punish that bishop move. You're supposed to take... Oh, it's the shared cover. Okay, okay. But then he could just choose not to take it, so he loses the pawn. Like, I get it, but that's even worse now because you attack the rook too. I just kind of did it too preemptively. Okay, that always makes sense. What else happened? Something was a miss. The miss to attack the bishop there, because you could just take the pawn still. Now here it's more obvious because you obviously have the ability to take it for free. That's a miss, and it leads to another miss, but it was born of a good core idea, I guess. This pawn was kind of a weak link the whole game. You don't do this because you end up getting trapped there, which I think is just utterly shameful as a piece. So you should just retire your knights from the game and just never use them. It's doing something good. It's getting a free pawn, but it just doesn't actually work for you. So now why is that a blunder? You move the rook there. That I can't really figure out. It was to put the queen there, which is okay with me as far as a trading proposition. So now you would just trade, and then it would be fine. You wouldn't really... So I'm trying to trade the rooks, but it's trying to trade the queen. So, like, we both have the same trade-heavy mentality. So, like, it's not bad, but it doesn't really do anything for me either. Okay, so what other mistake? I don't know exactly why the rook move is a mistake, though, still. It wants you to trade the queens, but that's just like a preferential thing. It doesn't mean that I went too far off with the gambit on that knight, but it doesn't seem like... If you had put the queen behind that, that could have been bad. And that's not even so surprising that he would win the knight there. That's a blunder also, but these are blunders that somehow work. Like, okay, what is the way to punish me for the blunder? It's not going to get trapped. Like, what does that still do? You could check. You wouldn't be able to take. You're not losing that badly, but I don't even understand sometimes why. Or like he'll kind of tell you why, but you are losing material this way. Why am I losing material? You ignore an opportunity to offer an equal trade of pieces. You can do these basically like they're puzzles anyway. Wait, but the knight, the rook wasn't even there. Missed an opportunity to trade an equal number of pieces, probably some X number of moves away. The best move is to go like that. But again, this is the kind of cheeky trade offer I would do, but only move that works. I don't even get why that's so bad though. Because you could still just ignore it and still just take. That in itself is not a good move that he does. I was trying to attack and cover. I don't like when a move like that's a blunder because it feels just like... It doesn't feel like something I would do the same thing again. Like, it seems fine. It's the right way of thinking, too. You're trying to pose dynamic threats, cover one thing, attack one thing. I was even praising that move as I did it. So let's see how far we can go. Okay, here we go. Let's focus all the way. Don't get overconfident if you're winning. This is the proper format for the King's Indian. This one, they don't push the center too hard. Which, even if they do, it's okay. It's still part of your expectation of the King's Indian, but acting like I'm actually an opening expert, but from whatever I understand of it, that is the point. You sort of concede the center to white, and it's okay. Because obviously it's an objectively imbalanced game where white has a huge advantage, and so you can just live with that. We could try to open this. The problem is you would have to take there, which is arguably not a good take to do. But that in itself is a little tricky. Like, how would I... I'd have to either find another outpost for the knight to go to, or I could just ignore it, period. You're not posing any immediate threat from that. I almost would prefer it if he just took right now. Or we could just bring the knight out the other way and try to pin it down. Right, so now you can still block with that pawn. But maybe that's not a pawn structure you want in the long run? I'm not even sure. I do that just to sort of simplify and guarantee a trade on a piece that might not be that valuable later, or I don't know what's going to happen with it. You're almost obligated to do this, and the reason why is because you want to just do something with this pawn, make the little V-shaped structure that I like so much. He's going to push the knight out, possibly. So once again, another game where the knight is a liability basically the whole way. You could go to here. He would take, I could take back. Then I would have nowhere to go with the knight as well. Kind of really hard to decide. I just kind of want to give the knight somewhere to go that it's not in the way. And that is a lot to ask because it's basically impossible to have that scenario happen. I could try to put it there. For now, so if he was to take, it would create like this weird sideways V-shaped pawn structure, which is okay for now. You push it out, but now you're blocking your own diagonal at least. You could go there trying to attack the pawn, but it's kind of a weak threat. You don't really want it on the edge of the board, but I almost just don't even want it at all. And there's nowhere good for it to go. In fact, this is kind of a bad move because you'll have nowhere to go, but he'll just push it out, and then I'll have nowhere to go anyway. This sort of incentivizes a trade here. If I was to, he would take, I would take, he would take, I would still take, I could still take again. If you let me take, I wouldn't be able to double take, but take. So you see, why did he block his own diagonal like that? But maybe it's actually the right thing to do. Maybe it's theory. So he moves to there. If I go here, it serves really no purpose. So let's just do that. He could bring the knight. If he does bring the knight, well, he could bring the bishop too. But like if he had brought the knight, then I could take, but he could still take back. Now we're in a curious spot as far as the thing here. The knight. That pawn is actually okay as it is. I just have to figure out what I can do with my other knight. His bishop doesn't have a cover, mine does, so we'd be potentially double, triple attacking that. The problem is that the knight is still not particularly great there. And at some point, I just don't even know where to go with it. I can't do anything with this one, so if I come here now, it wouldn't do anything because he could take, he could double take, I could take. It works if this isn't there. Even as bad of a move as this seemed, which it must be horrible. Like, let's set up for it in a bit of a slower way. Like, we'll go there, and then I could go here, and then if he was to take, I could have took that, but it doesn't matter because it's still covered by the queen. So that I can't do, but again, you already know that that would be exactly what you would try to do. I can't really figure it out, though. This you can't do anything about. I can't really figure a way to double attack it. I can't really figure a way to do anything with this at all, in fact. Take. I would take, he would take. I wouldn't be able to take, obviously. This move I'm a little bit stuck on. This seems like a good threat by the knight, but I can't really figure it out. I don't really want him to end Pizan that either. It'll split the pawns too much. I could try to just create a double stack, but that could be problematic too. Basically, we're just trying to load up on the knight and punish it for moving, which we could be doing from two different scenarios. If he moves it, we take the bishop. If he moves it, we take the double take the rooks. He's very fast, so we have to just focus and go all the way with it. I don't think I've made any major mistakes so far, but sometimes you have to be more willing to push the center pawns than what I am, even if it seems like it's going to block your bishop. You just trade stuff off, or you have to be a little bit more disciplined in not trading stuff, though, too, so it's kind of a hard balance. You just have to know exactly when and have a plan for it, but it's very hard to know. For that, you'd be threatening to double take, but it just doesn't matter. Or now, in fact, you could do like, you could try to have done this, because if he moves it, I could take it now. I almost still want the double stack though before I do anything else. Right, because now you can't move the knight, period. You just can't do it. And then you'll be pinned in another way. I could move the knight, and then you'll be pinned in terms of the bishop. But no, it doesn't actually work still. Because now the bishop covers the rook too. If you take, I could easily take. So maybe I should tunnel vision and not worry about that, but that'll be a fork. This one won't be protected. But you could still take with the knight. That's the thing. You could still do it, despite all these shenanigans going on. Right? I would take, you would take, I would take, he would still take. So the correct way to do it is like this. This would be a fork, though, still. Or no, because you gave up the cover now, I could do this. Because if you take, I take with the queen. Or first of all, I should do this. So now you're forced to take with the bishop, or... Nothing you do here should change the fact that I should be able to still take this. That's the point. Or it will, because I'm a clown. No, but if you take with the rook, I'll take, and then I'll still take the knight. If you take with the bishop, then I could just ignore the threat. So, like, the act of you taking. So either way, that knight is still a liability, so you at least get something for it. So it didn't work out quite the way I thought it would, but it's still good. We have the open file. There's another open file here. We're double attacking this, but it's still not enough. We could triple attack it. He comes like that. I can't do anything. So I could move the knight. I don't know exactly where I want it to go still. Could almost go here. We're attacking like there. Give it some open space. That'll even be sort of like an octopus knight, but it's kind of too much on my too much on my territory. I'm only +1 and I already squandered away. So it's just remember that as soon as you're up, you will start to play even worse than you normally do. And now that pretty much guarantees that you're able to take another pawn, but not really, but kind of. You go like this. He goes like this. I could easily take. You wouldn't be able to even give a check at all, though. That's the thing. Almost like you're going to set it up for a trap, but you're really not. I mean... kind of like an all or nothing scenario in which, you know, if you didn't do that, like you're setting up for mate, but if you didn't do that, you would probably get trapped too. Shouldn't be able to take anything there. This is a highly tense moment, actually. Where do you go with the queen that you don't get taken? You can easily go to like e6. But do you give up on the threat here is the question. E6 is going to be saved no matter what, so there's no trap based on that. I should definitely try to trade, but I can't figure out how to do it. If he pushes the pawn and doesn't do anything, I can still take with my pawn. I can take with the knight. I can threaten the queen with the knight, but the problem is he can still escape. He'll come down to there. So I would have already been attacking the queen, which again is not trapped. So he goes there, but I take, but he takes, but I still take. You only have one square to escape to that you're not going to get taken. That's all you can do. And then maybe I can try to force a trade. Not that I'm up by anything, but... yes, this position is getting kind of annoying. At least if you're up by a huge margin, you can afford to slip a little bit, but that's not even good advice to follow. You shouldn't let that affect your play, but it's very hard not to. Now, if you were to go like this is going to be me forcing too much, pressing for a trade. But you have to do it. You have to, don't you? Or you could you could do whatever, and then as a result of doing it, you would take the rook. So like if I could just, if I could do anything with the knight, give a check even, I would still be able to take. The problem is I'd be giving it up too much for free. I can't figure out exactly how to do that. Or just the simple act of doing the trade would be like that too. So he has to let me take it. There's no other escape route for this. You take, I take with the knight, and then I'm unleashing into an attack on the rook. If he brings the rook down to the A file, I can simply take it. So all that effort just to secure a trade, right? You're not trapping it to trap it. But the fact that I seem to want it so badly makes him sort of question his existence here. At least these pawns are very awkward then. This is covered either way, so I just have to hurry up a bit. We could cover here, and now the threats are sort of muted a bit. We have to watch out for that light square bishop's capabilities, though, too. Right, we kind of forgotten that it's in the game. We kind of want him to forget. We did that mainly to avoid the prospect of... I should just kind of go for it. Balls to the wall, but... Can't take the other pawn either, but I have to be a little bit careful. You would think this should be fine, but... I can't really calculate this fast, so I'm just going to go for it. I'm not even up anything at all. You have so many other options to try to cover. It's like... What is he going to do? He's going to bring the light square bishop in, which I don't even see how that's going to matter. Or I kind of do, but... this would be covered by the light square thing, too. Or even if you go there, I can just take with the knight, so it should be a guaranteed promote. He didn't put up much of a fight with that promotion, actually. He thought he would do something with the king, which he almost could have, and then he just lost his nerve. You obviously take... Okay, that's pretty clear. I didn't have any seemingly major advantage the whole game, but then it somehow ballooned. We should just be able to give non-stop checks here. Just don't blunder the queen. Still not going to be a mate. Is there some kind of a check where we can take the rook? You would go there, I could check and take the thing. Or we could take this and check. Then he goes to, let's say, the dark square. There is some sort of vague threat here still, though. That's the problem. In fact... he's going to go to the darks. Don't tell me I'm going to somehow still get mated. He goes up to there, but I can still go into there. If he could have, like, blocked and done something that would have saved the thing, he's actually still threatening mate himself, though. That would have been insane. Or maybe he even had it, too. 63-78 is okay. Let's see what kind of notable blunders. I don't feel like I played too badly there, but all these games where you play okay, but then you're not up, so you're realizing it would be a draw every time. That's just the nature of the game. That's not terrible, I guess, but... we had a lot of, like, unleashed kind of ideas going on, but nothing actually materialized. You're able to take, but then what went wrong here that I got so little for it? Like, obviously, that was a bad idea. That's a great move because you're setting up to try to trap it. That's a blunder. That's a blunder. Oh, he did just hang it, period. I was so worried about the mate, you know, the mate scenario that I didn't think of it, even. And then we had sort of an unleash idea with it. A lot of swings back and forth. Like, why is even the queen trade a blunder? If I raise that, like, what does that even do? Great move to push the pawn somewhere along the line. Yeah, he didn't have mate, but he would have had mate any time I didn't do anything. So that's how dangerous it can be. Let's try to focus. King's pawn opening, typical stuff. One opening Andy. You go like this, we got to understand now how to use the bishop a little better if I'm not going to trade it. I don't mind trading one off very quickly. But see, ideally, I'd have a situation like this. I can't really help but trade there, but it's arguably not good. So here's what you're actually supposed to do. You're supposed to go here, even though I don't understand the use of the bishop. You are supposed to put it here, I guess, but I don't know what that does for you. Like, there's no... I really don't know. You put it here, like, kind of unexpectedly, and then you just leave it there the rest of the game. I guess you could put it there. I just don't see what it's going to do, though. You certainly can't put it here because you're just going to have this very ugly pawn structure. Maybe you somehow know in your expert genius brain that you'll be able to... if he doesn't punish this, then I can go there. Then I could try to double take, or, you know, I would take... He's attacking the queen. Take. Yeah, this should actually be good because he can't move it, or I guess he could move it. But then we'd win something. He could like move and take the pawn, but then I should be able to double take. And I could also just take with the queen. So the better move is to probably push it out with the pawn there on a6, but which is what 99% of people do. Because they actually know and study opening theory, unlike me, but I still somehow know that. Just from repetition and seeing it so many times, but you're really not supposed to play like that. Or you're supposed to do that for like 20 years, and then people act like they're so good. So either way of what happens, I should be able to double take. But it's not really a meaningful double take because I would take, you would take, and then I still can't take. So it doesn't matter. It's not even a big deal. Yeah, it's a real conundrum as far as what to do with the dark square bishop here. I can't really figure it out. The position just doesn't seem right for it. So ideally you would just trade it, but if you can't figure out how to do that here, then... Okay, you should definitely go... Sometimes it's good to just sort of leave stuff hanging this way, but... I don't know what that's even going to do. It's going to cover the thing. So this would allow him to take. I would take. He would take. Or no. Now he's addressed that. So if I was to go there, he could take. I could take. He could take. I could take. He could take this. I shouldn't move the queen. Maybe I'll move this. So now if he was to do that, I could still take. But I would first take, then he would take, then I would take, then he would take, then I could still take, or I wouldn't have to take that. It's sometimes good to just leave stuff threatened like this, but it can sometimes backfire. If you leave it too long, something could go wrong. Like now he could take this. Or couldn't he have done that like the whole time? He could do that, then if I take, then... He could take my bishop, but then I could take his knight. If not, then I could take the bishop and check, but then he could take back. So that would be a devastating thing, like take, but then take. That's the problem with leaving all these moving parts, because you never know exactly what's going to happen, or it's hard to entirely account for it. You would think you'd be getting something a little more advanced here, but now I just kind of want to trade everything off, and I don't think I even get anything for all my trouble. I would take, you would take, I don't know. Maybe you'll take it with the pawn and you won't even let me trade, but I get absolutely zero from that. I double stack his pawns on the king side. And I arguably opened myself up to a lot of threats there too. If you move the bishop away, that would obviously be stupid. He doesn't let me do that, so now I'm in a pickle where I don't know what to do with like basically either of my bishops. They're both going to be bad. I mean, that's why I traded one, but if I hadn't, then this position isn't too favorable for that. Yeah, I don't like the idea of blocking this dark square diagonal with the pawn, but I guess supposedly it's not that bad. You're just supposed to go like somewhere here, like with the dark square bishop, and just leave it there, which just feels kind of less intuitive than you're normally supposed to do it like that way on the other side. We've seen the Caro-Kann a couple times. Not that I know what it is by looking at it, but just... yes, the Caro-Kann, where you double stack your pawns and split your pawns and just leave your king wide open and let your opponent trade and pin everything down. Like, it's... Of course. I mean, this would give me free development on the knight, even as much as I don't want to always trade everything. If he raises the bishop to do this, I could do this. Then he would take... I could easily take back. He backs up. I can do this. Just play simple, solid moves. I even played way too aggressive in the opening, so let's try to learn from that and see. I can almost guarantee it wasn't correct. You know, because it wants you to leave them hanging probably, but for how long is the question. So now you could try to check and cover, basically. Then if he takes, then I take. First of all, he'd be able to do this, though. So he kind of wants to open this up, but there's no way that I can stop him from doing it. He'd be better off just simply taking. I would take, he would take. He wouldn't be able to take with the other bishop, or now he still will be able to. I don't see a way around taking. I have to take. You could go for some brazen thing to try to trap that, but it's very unlikely to happen. That is very dangerous, but all I have to do is this. Or you could just do, well, yeah, he would take, I would take, he would take, I would still take. But more importantly, this, he can't take, but it doesn't matter because I would take, he would take, I would take, he would still take. And look at what the clown knight does here, because if you try to develop it, then you'll take there. Like, always a liability, always a noose around my neck. Just the worst piece in the history of any game ever. Almost as bad as the elephant, I guess, in Chaturanga and so forth. You could try to take again. I don't see what... It would give me a potentially passed pawn, but... Then do I feel confident that I would be able to deal with his passed pawn? Like, he's got the double diagonal. We get it. It's very impressive. You attack there. And... Now, you can't really move the... You can't really move the thing. So it is actually an interesting question. You can't move the pawn. So what's going to happen is... You could move to a dark square. I could, like... I mean, that shuts off his ability to attack it, but he could go like that. I don't actually know what to do, though, besides this, because you can't move that. The knight gets in the way yet again. I wouldn't want to go there, but I might have to. He would push like this, but then we should just pose a threat like as if to take this. It's going to be kind of a double-edged sword because of the simple fact that if you bring a rook behind, then I can't really do anything because it would be as much of a threat for me as it is for you. So I might just have to accept that this pawn is screwed on account of the knight. I need like a counter, just a visual cue. Like, this is how many times the knight has screwed me over today, which is basically every time, every game. Even when I'm winning, it doesn't matter. Just the biggest chance of failure is always on account of the knight. I should have almost done the double stack the other way so I could try to trade the bishop in on E, whatever, on the light square. You might have no choice but to simply do this, and that's okay. There's just nothing I can do. So you would take, I would take, I'll just deal with it. A little bit low on time. It's not going to make the difference in the game. This is double covered. You could push it out, try to take. It still wouldn't be able to take. The rooks are going to be safe, so you should just take. Imagine he doesn't take now after all that build-up. I should definitely move the bishop away, though. It's not doing anything now. I won't be able to double take. I could try to go here. He wouldn't be able to take. I go here. He can't take with the bishop because of the simple fact that you have the pin still. I could take that anytime I want, and then you could take the knight anytime you want, and it would still be safe, but it's just such a nuisance. You could take and check on f2, but then you would just lose more than you bargained for. We don't lose the cover really on anything. Or maybe you would have gotten something because this would have been still able to move. Are you seriously trying to do this right now? Like, what are you doing, man? Okay, take. Just stop. You should have just taken the knight. So at the very least, you should have to take the with the rook. Now you could take that pawn there too. Take the pawn, attack the rook. I could move it. I could sort of pin it down. It'll be double attacked immediately. Unable to move. Unable to probably be covered as well. It leaves my bishop in a weird spot though because it requires the pin to be alive. So even if I was to take advantage of that threat, you should definitely get rid of this before anything else happens. Right, so now the presumption is he'd be able to take there, but then he kind of blew that chance too. You should be relatively safe this way. And they have so many chances, it kind of frustrates me because I know I don't deserve it. Take. You come there, I simply take. Or we had the ability to take. No, we don't have the ability to take. So what we have to do, show the game a little more respect, especially all the way through. I can't just expect to breeze through it. So I wouldn't have been able to take that anyway. Can't do anything with that, so let's just go this way. So it's open. The double take here doesn't have consequence because you simply are covering it with the queen, but we have to keep that in mind at least that it could become an issue later. I could take and check, but I can't. I have plenty of time. You try to attack that with the bishop. I don't really know what the significance of it's going to be. You could take, I could take. Nothing really crazy is happening. When in doubt, just always go for trades, but that just doesn't always work for me. So see, you're not going to convert this into a win, or it would take forever, and it would take a pawn promotion. You're not just going to mate him. And on top of that, he's going to just run out of time. You never really get to see endgames in these kind of games, whether it be because of the format and the time control, or whether it be because of the low rating and the clown behavior of these players. It could be a lot of things, but you could double stack here. So if you were to... no... You could like unleash and you'd be threatening to take, especially if I did that. We have the whole thing here. So like take. Very low on time. I would go for the trade if I could. I would even trade down just to make that happen. And then you're losing your advantage right away. So what's the point? If Tyler Durden from Fight Club was a chess player, right? 25. This is his account. I love all these posts they have on YouTube, like, oh, you know, what if this guy's talking about chess? Like, some big shot athlete or somebody. Like, everybody might play chess, but so what? It's just... I have to worry about the check here. If he does do it, take, there'd be no threat really posed by it. This doesn't work, although it is kind of scary to potentially allow for that. Kind of letting my guard down twice over. One, because I'm up. Two, because I'm... two, because I'm up on time, too. If I was to let him take there, I would be able to just... He would take, I would take, he would take. I would still be able to take. That doesn't actually help you. Or did that actually equalize it? But it doesn't matter still. So that's where time comes in. If you come here, he would have to cover it. Okay. He would win a pawn there. Look at him go Super Saiyan mode with little time left. Amazing. You can take on the other side. Like, wow, dude, what a motivated, so impressive, just incredible. What is this? What the fuck? Okay, that's weird. What was that? Okay, I'm done. Yeah, I never accuse people of cheating, but I don't get it. Like, why do they become gods at the end of the thing? Like, he's obviously struggling on time, and then he just does that. Okay, cool. If you were that good, then it shouldn't have come down to that point. Like, what do you mean? What the fuck was this? I mean, I should have just covered for it like a normal thing, and he probably wouldn't have been able to do anything. You know, maybe I shouldn't even count that one. Just because it was so stupid at the end there, but actually, whatever. Okay, just go basic, like the King's Indian. I mean, if I'm gonna lose like that, I don't care. Like, that's a perfectly acceptable loss. Like, I don't know what universe we're playing in or what's happening. It's somebody doing a speed run, some kind of title player. I expect that rating back. I just don't know what that is. You clearly are showing that you're not good, you're not fast, you're not anything. Now our whole castle situation is ruined. That's number one. That happens a lot. Like, I don't get it. How do they... It's like just adrenaline. They go Super Saiyan mode in that moment. I mean, obviously, I should have just stopped the pawn. I don't know why I played that badly. But again, just because I play it suboptimally doesn't mean that that guy knows exactly what he's doing with 9 seconds left. That's what you have to understand. Like, the same guy who has 9 seconds against a clown like me is the same guy who does that. people will look at it from their perspective like, oh yeah, of course anybody could do that because they're better, but take. I don't understand even how to do this now, but because where is the knight really gonna go? Like, I'd love to move the queen, but I can't, and he'll end up trapping it or something stupid. I should probably just try to clean up the center pawns a little bit. Actually, I should have just ended it there, but well, I'll get one more life just because I don't accept that game. Okay, just take everything. The problem is he's still gonna pin down and check because I just can't do anything about this stupid knight ever. Or maybe I should even put this here just to make sure that doesn't happen. Then we could move the queen, and then we could basically try to develop the knight in some century here. That was even the whole theme of like how I was staying so disciplined and going the whole distance, but I don't know what that was. That's the whole secret. Just play like his bullet, but you should just do that the whole game then if you're that good with it. Okay, so he goes there. I take. I don't see any crazy threats. We could go like this even. We'd be threatening this, but I wouldn't be able to take it. Now, there's one priority and one priority only that I have here in my whole life, and that is, can we just actually castle and develop the knight? But the thing is, you can't do that because the knight is designed just to totally hinder you. It is the imposter if this was a game of Among Us, to put it in modern lingo. That center pawn structure that he had was pretty annoying. I don't mind this. If he goes down, I could simply take. He's almost as big a fan of trading as I am, but maybe we could do this instead. He'd be able to double threaten it. I could do this, I guess. Like, I almost don't even want to threaten it, but he loves trading. Yeah, I don't think this is a very favorable trade, though, for me. I could presumably get that one anytime I want to. Get some free pawn development out of it. He's going to create like maybe the double threat. But by the time he does, I should still be able to castle, so he can do at best 6 for 6. Just the rook and the pawn, obviously, for the bishop and the knight. You could even push it so far as to try to... No, but I can't afford to do that in case he brings the knight early. Yeah, you can't let up just because you're up, whether it be on time, whether it be on material. You could be up a queen with they have 5 seconds left and they'll still beat you, so you just have to focus. Like, at least if he gotten down to like insufficient material, like timeout versus insufficient material, that would still be okay. But so he would take, I would take, he would still take, so I could do like this. Then he would take, I would take, he would take, and then he could take the rook there. Let's instead just bully the knight, I guess. Balk, Beer, Vienna Gambit. He just goes back, or maybe he goes there. Okay. No crazy threat posed by that. That would be some sort of a check. That would be something here. I don't see anything crazy. So this we have to keep in mind, though, whether I want to cover like that or like this. Okay, this is my last chance if I lose now. I really don't like how I even cheated that format, but I could do this. If he moves it, I could take the pawn, but I can't. It is actually covered by the knight. These are in a very weird arrangement, though. Like, it's not something you see a lot with these two knights just sitting here. You could give a check. I could still move. You basically want to move the bishop somewhere. Maybe I should have just done the trade earlier, but there's nowhere particularly great to go. We can go here and pin it down. That would allow you to check and take, though. We'd go here, and then we're setting up just basically for the trade. You could still check, and I could just keep dancing around, I guess. Worst case, we could trade there. I would take. He could check. He could go there. None of these moves are particularly great, but yeah, what I really love trading are the knights more than anything. Like, not just pieces, period, but you have to trade at least one knight early. You can see how hard they are to just develop. I mean, even he hasn't done the best job, but they're at least more active. I just don't know exactly what they're gonna do. I do have this octopus knight square potentially. No, but it's still not, because he could push it out with depending how I put the pawns. I could go on d5 right now. So he's attacking the simple the pawn there. He could go for the 6 for 6. He's also attacking the bishop itself. So now I could go here because you can't give the other check at least to be able to take the bishop. The worst case, you do 6 for 6, which doesn't matter too much. Then we'd be double attacking this with a pin, which means we should at least be able to open the king. At least I didn't do it all day today, but I wasn't even planning on doing it at all. But I figured, let's just go until we lose. How long could that possibly take? Which it was going fine until then. Okay, so I would be kind of interested in taking. I almost have to, because as much as I don't like the knights here, you'll take with the thing, and then you'll be triple attacking this. So that was probably a very bad idea. At the very least, I should lose a pawn then for this. The knights are no help at all. I could go here. You could push it out. I could, like, fork it. You either have to cover this, or you could block. So I could block and afford to lose the thing. But then even then, he could take, and then he's threatening there. That wasn't a good move at all, actually. What I could do is I could go here for now. And then the predictable move is he's going to push it out. I could just let him take, and then I don't necessarily have to take off the back of it. Trust off the threat, so then at least I'd be able to take the knight. Does me watching... that doesn't matter. I don't mind. Right, that's still kind of worth it, but you still win a pawn for it. That's okay. Double attack there. Wouldn't be worth it for him to do that at all now, though. So moving these knights has been really unbelievably difficult. Try to attack there. I could take. He would take and check. It almost doesn't even seem that bad to take. I certainly can't let him keep going. Or it probably would be bad, right? I don't know. It would take and check, but I still stay connected to the rook. If you check there, or there might be some kind of mate here. I don't know. It's kind of a bad position because of that stupid whatever I did a couple moves back. So I would obviously think he's going to take with the bishop. And then we go here. So now the best you can do is check with the rook, and that would allow you to, or that would then allow you to take here, I guess. Wait, but that still doesn't matter. Even if he took, I still take back, covered by the rook. I'm only -1. It feels like it should be a lot more than that, considering how bad positions seem to be. And it probably will manifest pretty shortly. Yeah, I don't know what these knights were doing the whole game. So we could go here and we attack the pawn and we attack the bishop. Got 2 minutes left. He's only +2. I would pretty happily oblige that, I guess. So he'll possibly win because of the passed pawn. I don't know what else I can really do, though. My king is closer, so you could do something with that. I just have to make sure I don't... I don't know, I have to make sure I don't give him another pawn or something else, or give like a... Okay. I cover this regardless. If he's willing to do basically that trade, I wouldn't even mind, but it doesn't work because he would have to... He would take and then still cover in the same token. Okay, now I can cover here, and then if he's... Or it's kind of too late, but... It shouldn't really be a promotion, though, logically. His king is too far, but then he'll have two so I have to consider whether it's worth doing that. I'll bring this all the way. Okay, that probably has to still be done. This is where the classic example of how a double stack can mess you up is that if they were connected, that'd be almost impossible to stop. Now they'll be only moderately difficult to stop. You try to take there, and can he do it in a minute? Of course he can, because these people just... Like, the level of play throughout the game doesn't reflect that this guy would be able to do anything now with 1:30 left, but somehow... I should try to still protect this pawn, but it's going to be very hard to do. Wait, so he's letting me have this. Back there, he'll have to back off, or he could have, yeah. You could raise the pawn, so he has one there, one there. Minute 13 left. His attack there is kind of a waste to even give these checks. You could slip in there. Now, he's inclined to... Okay, I could take and check. Go like this so he can't move it. You could check me from there, but I don't know. Or that was pretty bad, I guess. Now, technically, you should be able to do that because he wouldn't be able to take, but that'd be like the suicide chess variant. Or like where you play it out. So that would still be a draw by all standards. At least here he has a considerable more amount of time. Good game. $69 again. Yeah, maybe I should just keep going anyway because I have so little time to do this. We may as well just turn every Saturday and every day of our life into playing this. Who cares about the thing, but you kind of have to play with that in mind. Who cares? I only have but so much time anyway, so I'm obviously going to fail. If I take here, it's generally bad, but if I don't take, I also don't understand because it makes no sense what you're supposed to do with this. Push is there, good opportunity to bring out the queen. The problem is the act of addressing that makes it so that this does nothing. Wow. I should almost go like here and just try to make something happen because it's just so irritating. You take with the knight, but at least if you take with the pawn, okay, he doesn't take with anything. He's threatening there, so I could almost just go back. But if you were to bait take, then I lose that. You would take there and check. You could take the pawn there, I guess. We're +2, though. That makes it kind of worth it, but the center development is so ugly. Okay, we come here. We could try to trade the knight. He could take there, so I should actually do this. He could take with the pawn still, and then he'd be able to take and check and do all kinds of fun stuff. I always have that. Like, I already know what I'm... Like, I got to basically 50, so I should have stopped. That was enough. I always try to go too long. You'd be able to double take there, I guess. You'd also take there if I do this. So here you'd be able to take. It's kind of the only necessary move you can do, which I'm sure there's all kinds of gambit, crazy shit you can still do. That's the point of these sort of moves. Okay. Yeah, why do I keep going? That's why I even set that rule. Like, okay, you could only lose but so much rating because you know, because you could only lose one game. I think openings tilt me a lot because, or even that end game sort of tilted me, but it is the objectively solvable nature of the game. The objectively worst part of the game, don't take it from me, take it from Bobby Fischer, take it from Capablanca, take it from anybody who knows anything about the game. Openings are garbage, objectively solvable, studied trash. To spend 20 years of your life studying them and then brag about how good you are at them, and will be so very impressed and surprised. Now, the part of the game that we will be impressed genuinely will be like other aspects, like middle games and stuff, fine, but that part is very unfun. And then even end games are kind of like that, but not quite as bad. So, like, if you were to try to learn this, like, what am I supposed to do against this clown show of an opening? You're not even supposed to do it, but I'm not going to know what to do then. He'll take there and attack the knight. Like, how am I going to... like, understand by what I did. What does it like to do? Okay, of course, move the knight back, which you're going to end up having to do anyway. So you move this up, and then you probably set up to put the knight there. Very awkward, stupid development. I should have 3 lives, so if I lose 1 more, then I'll legitimately stop, which will be right now, I'm sure. I have to take my time a little bit more in the opening, like how kind of I was doing, or just take my time overall. Go here, everything else is good. Always test the rule of, like, you have to enjoy something to even attempt to be good at it, which I don't think I enjoyed those aspects, so that'll ruin it for me. Like, how do you have fun if you're a GM or anybody? How do you have fun doing openings? It's just so repetitive trash. Where there's just like a right and wrong answer, and you just have to memorize them. Even the biggest chess shill in the world would not deny the fact that that's how it works objectively. You would go here and you could have the chance to try to take. I don't know beyond that though. You could almost raise it, but you can't. I assume this is what you're supposed to do here, but I don't really understand fully. So if you raise it, I could take, you could take, I could take, and it would be okay, but I would have the queen covered too. Now this puts it in sort of a vulnerable spot, but my dark square bishop isn't engaged at all. The thing is that... okay, this development is at least a little more comfortable, I guess. Bring the knight out, and you could end up trying to trap that in there. Get rid of the dark square bishop overall. And we're also covering this, so you have to remember, I always go for that and then give up the pawn. That's not a priority. Don't move that. So I want to trap the bishop in there. If you go there, I don't want to take it. That's the thing. I would take, you would take, I would take, you would take, I would take, you would still take. I don't want to take it. If we raise it, it's fine, because you're not going to raise it again. Or the knight is kind of what will ruin it, though, because I would like to just raise the next pawn. But that's okay. So we'll have a double stack. We could have a double stack on G3. Or quite frankly, I could move this and let you take, and then I could maybe raise this later. That wouldn't be that bad either. You would take, I would take, wait. That was very bad because of the simple fact that you would, you would have the simple fact of you would have been able to take the rook there. Because if you took with the pawn, I take, you take back. So that was already very bad. So that we can at least come back. And then if he takes, I take. If he comes there, okay, that's actually fine. So now this would be a bit of an interesting cover. It's a little too overextended. Giving him that open H file is far more dangerous. That's a simple double attack, but it doesn't actually matter. The problem is you end up in the situation where it just never, like, it never resolves itself. That's the problem with this sort of thing. So take, or whatever, take with the pawn. I have to take from some other angle, basically. Like, if I don't take this knight, we'll be sitting here forever and give him enough time to bring in another attacker. Or potentially push it out with a pawn, which is very... Okay. I could take with the pawn, and then we're in a pretty good shape. If I take with the rook, we're losing, but I'm sure this has its repercussions, too. He's going to put the rook maybe behind it, or we could do this first. So this doesn't make me feel particularly safe, but I'll deal with it for now. You could take the knight, which I think would be generally a pretty bad idea. Anti-fried liver. Okay, we take, we check, he blocks. I could go back, and then if he comes, takes. I can't take. We could cover this from there. This does make it very difficult for him to castle, but he obviously didn't want to castle the conventional way anyway. We can go to the dark square. We covered that. We could come here and then he can't move it, but so what? You could check from over there. At some point, maybe. You can almost just try to open this as quickly as possible. If he keeps going, then this pawn position could be maybe dangerous. This is me trying to force it, though, a little bit too much. My king side doesn't actually feel that bad, but it's just weird. You don't normally see this position. Like, he would take, and then he could bring back his own, his other rook, which is actually fine. Let's just go for this. Bring the other rook. Now, whether I want to latch onto here or there, I don't know. I kind of want to stay away from that. Check, sack it, get that through. We'll bring the queen in. I have to move this here, let's say. You could give a check here, but... I cover the pawn, so you can't do much of anything. Give a check with the rook. I could hide behind the queen, which is only dangerous if you were to have cover here, which you might be able to do. You could just double stack, and then almost a good opportunity to get perpetual checks, because somehow I'm up material here, but my position is pretty bad. But then again, there's no position worse than just queenside castling, am I right? You would take there and check. But first of all, we can just check ourselves. And there could be some vague mating possibility if I'd gone there, but there's not. All we'd have to do is cover on that, but it's very difficult to do that. We're stopping the queen from coming in and giving checks, although it could take the other pawn there. If you check there, I can try to escape through. Interesting where he's left that pawn, but it's just not going to come into play for a while. You could... Okay, move this just so nothing goes wrong with it. I don't see how he still could mate. He'll check on the back rank. I could move. He'll check again. I could block. Or I could just move too. Or all you would really have to do is still won't be mate. So what ends up happening is he's only +3, but it can snowball pretty badly. And with that, it would have been very... That would have been very handy, but is he really going to still leave it there? Of course he is. Yeah, go ahead, take the pawn too. Don't worry about the king. Like, who cares about that? The king is the least important thing in the game of chess. He's +4, but you would think this pawn would have a certain amount of value, and he doesn't have anything to trade for it besides potentially the knight. In fact, if I could get this all the way, that'd be good. Or if I could get this, like... If I could get it there, it would be very strong. Or maybe not even. Who knows? I'm gonna have to cover for that, first of all. Even if I did this, so what? Like, I would get there, then... Oh, wait. He would take... But he won't be able to take. It won't necessarily be mate, but it should give me a lot of options and possibly a promotion. First of all, he can't even move. We left that hanging for like 50 turns where he could have easily taken it. You have to do it in little sessions, which means you basically have to play every single day of your life, which is pretty normal for, I think, people who play chess a lot, but it's a strange commitment, and it sort of undercuts the whole idea of, what was that? It undercuts the whole idea of, well, now I don't have to even worry about that. What do you mean? Like, why would you even do that? Forget about the promotion, now I'm just winning, period. How did that even help you? Or are you going to still somehow be able to guarantee the promotion? I don't think you can. That didn't even seem to help. You try to push this out just for the sake of wherever you would go, I would be able to take it. Even if you go to the back rank, obviously I just take the pawn instead. You can take and check, whatever. I can check on the back rank and that'll be pretty devastating for you. I really don't see why he needed to sack the queen. Like, maybe he was going to lose anyway, but I don't see what that did. Like, let's see if it was really as bad as what his move showed. White's winning like crazy. No, I'm still losing. So yeah, that sack was totally unnecessary. You just somehow cover on the back rank, which I don't even know how. Alright, so this is my last try. I play until I lose, but losing is considered 3 games, of course, instead of 1. Like a whole set. Can I just focus? Like, I get in these moments where I do really well and I'm really trying and calculating. I don't like doing this, but I don't know how else to deal with it. Now we just trade stuff off. If it's the knight, maybe I'll think twice about it. I did some kind of crazy attack the other game where, because it was the knight, I tried to double attack and do all this kind of fancy stuff pin, but you are supposed to do this, which is something that does deeply confuse me with the relevance of the dark square bishop. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it then. It's very strange. That is already covered, so his development is not great unless he's developing a queenside castle, which even then, it doesn't matter because you're supposedly supposed to leave it like this, but I don't know what it does. Like, why is this a good spot to ever put it? It doesn't seem like it is. When do you ever see this development? Like, have you studied this? Do you play like this? When? You could try to go here and pin it down, so I don't know what other threat we could do to that, though. Like you pin it down and then, but even if you moved it, I would just be a trade. But like I go here and then he takes, I take. Now the bishop becomes a concern. Like it's gonna be a nightmare game here, but it's okay. He would take, I would take, but that doesn't work, so we need another cover. In a way, you would think I should light this more. It suits my defensive style, and it's also like, oh, they're all such close range pieces, so it's easier to calculate for them. But it's just an unnatural, unintuitive motion that they make. And I think most people would agree with that. So now if he takes, I take back, but then he still takes. Like, it would be kind of awkwardly placed. You can certainly do it. It's just, let's get our little V-shaped structure going. And then try to develop the other knight, or maybe that should have been a priority even over that. So if he goes knight to g4, we obviously raise the pawn to stop him from mating. Or if he was to go there, I go there, he would take, I would take, he would still have too much stuff on there. He's gonna try to open that up a bit. Let's just do knight covers knight. Hey stars, how's it going? But the last several games, just developing the knights has pretty much almost cost me the game in and of itself. Just the simple act of getting them out of the way. So there's no reason to let him take. I would take would be fine. That one guy was even as much a fan of trading as I am, which this guy maybe is too. Okay, now we just have to consider what I can do with the knight. You could pose the threat like this, and then the only way to react is this. So if he was attacking both of these at once, then that would be very difficult, because then it would allow him to take, but it wouldn't actually. We could go here, and that is actually a legitimate octopus knight position. They happen almost just by accident. It's not like I'm planning for that the whole game. But when you see it, you gotta take it. Now I could bring the rook to the open file eventually, or I won't really be able to. I kind of like this, how much we simplified the position so fast. And then he won't necessarily have an octopus knight, but I won't be able to push out that pawn on d5 unless I give up my pawn that's giving me an octopus knight in the first place. So it kind of does give him one. Or no, I can push it out with this. But what if he's on the other side? I can push it out with this. Okay, that's not a big deal, although there's a vague back rank possibility. I should almost do this, because I am thinking about the mating threat from that even. Other than that, he's not really doing too much. He's gonna give me some kind of fork or something. He's gonna try to go fancy. You go ahead and raise the queen, and then move the rook either to the open file or just somewhere. The octopus knight's value is sure to shine, even though it looks like he's doing nothing most of the time. You could try to fork like there, but then you end up trapping the knight actually, because whatever, even if you take, you just go there and then you can't go anywhere. To see, once you see that once, you will surely remember it. If your memory isn't as bad as mine, but there's just so much repetition in this game, even more so than there would be normally, like even in the good old days, like a Paul Morphy or whatever. The fact is, of course, they thought about the game a lot and came up with ideas, but they didn't know always whether those ideas were good or not. Now you have such a sense of finality, like here's the right answer, here's the wrong answer, so you really do just study and just memorize lines. It's like it went from 75% memory to 95% memory. So I'd rather fail in that structure than to succeed in this one, where it's just... Now here you would technically be able to take for free if he does move that. Even as dangerous as this obviously is to do, it's just... Can't give a check. This is a very ballsy, unnecessary move to make. you move the knight, I take the rook for free. So this only doesn't work if you cover it back with the queen, but then I could always move it again. Get at least to the 50 mark, which I already just was. I could double stack on it if like that's really your point here. Where does the knight go that's even threatening here? I don't get it. And so now if we were to push it out, that'd be great. The problem is you do have this piece called a queen that you could easily just cover it with, in which case this whole thing is pointless. In fact, it could turn into something very dangerous, because then if I let him move or whatever, then he would take, I would take, he would still take. So I almost have to do the same thing with my king. But then again, if the queen's in front, it's fine because the knight's also covering. The natural move here would be to push out the knight with the pawn, thereby allowing me to double take. Or it would actually be I mean, as much as we fiended for trades, I just have to figure out then how do I win the endgame, which I'm not always the greatest at doing. The question is, first of all, where will the knight even go? It's possible you could just take the knight. Almost. I'll do it just in keeping with how this game has gone, but... Right, so we could guarantee the double trade. I can't really think of anything else to do with my knight. We could like take a pawn, but then that would lead to the end sequence of me still winning the knight after. So you could like do this and then take, 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 take. I'm not really even winning anything. It wasn't a very difficult cover for him to do. So can I win this endgame? Oh, wow. Okay, he doesn't want the trade now. Now I have to just give up the open file to him. All that thinking for nothing. Like, that's the typical low-rated calculation. Like, if they do this, then this. But what if they do any other million of the possibilities that they could potentially do in that exact position? Then it ruins everything you're thinking about. So it's easy to tunnel vision on just the idea that you want. I could check from there, which doesn't actually do much. You can still escape. Yeah, I'm waiting to cash in on the value of this octopus knight. I hear they're valuable. I hear they're rare. Actually, people were saying they're not that rare, but I get them all the time, but they're not always that good. Or like mine's too much on my own territory. It has to be like on the other side. Like if it was there or there, that's almost too far. The same scenario where no pawns can push it out. There's going to be this one killer move that we can do with it, but not for a while. I could check there, and then he goes there. There's just no follow-up play that I have. You go there, then I take, then you take. Could go here, could go there, could go there. You could still take. I don't really even want to do that. Like, what's the point? He takes, I take back. I have the open file. He didn't want to trade. See, whenever you go for a trade that aggressively and boneheadedly, they think you have a plan, or like, oh wow, if he trades, he must win. But my reality is just, I like to trade period, just simplify the position. And of course, I obviously will win no matter what, because I'm just so good. But the reality is, it doesn't mean that I have a plan. It just means that I want the trade period. Can't do anything with that. The knight coming in doesn't actually do anything, so he would still have to do some sort of pawn play. It almost makes it seem like this would be the best move, or even that. If he goes there, I take. If he takes, there's no way to get anything else in there. Doesn't really feel like there's a great option. You'd have to push some pawns to actually make anything happen. Of course, I don't have a great threat either, so even as much time as we have, the position is so simple that you have to not mess anything up, and it should probably still be a draw. So time is one of those mechanics that exists just to subvert the overly drawable nature. What is the Summer of Chessing? Oh, is that like the... if you watch for a certain amount of time, you get like a free month of premium, something like that. I think that's like on every chess channel, right? If you watch somebody for like 2 hours who's playing chess, then you can somehow redeem it. I think you have to like link your Twitch or whatever to your chess.com account. Yeah, it even said I got it, but I'm already premium, so what's the point? Why would I get it from watching my own stream? Take. And first of all, I would just take the queen. Or it might be 14 days, actually. I think I looked at it. I don't think I've ever had a drop thing on my channel before. And I tend to dislike stuff like that, but I guess it was just auto-enabled, so I just left it. Take. If he takes, I could just take, so he either has to get out of there, and he might have to give it up even for free otherwise. Take. Now it's just a question of what can I do with the knight to actually win this. You have to be very careful of his knight's mobility, but it's going to take him longer than it'll take me, I guess. This pawn is kind of isolated. You have to really calculate these moves hard, and I think we have time to do it. This is the weakest link, so I should go like there. He has a little bit less time, but there's no reason why I should win this position. Now, if he raises that, I can't actually still do anything, though, because I would have to put this there and then put this there. But the reason why that still doesn't work is because I put this here, he puts that there. Or he'll cover it now with the king. He'll just take it. I could maybe do something with my king. I don't see what he can take with his knight, though, still. This is covered, but he can easily push it out. Okay, now at least his knight's committing to the other side, so maybe I have to cover this. Knight versus knight endgame with this exact structure of pawns. Like, it must be surely such a common thing. I can't do that. He'd go there and check, but I don't know if that's really the check he wants. He'd go there, I could go there. 2 minutes left. Everything should be good. Okay, even that's fine. If we were to trade, though, that's not going to work out. Or, like, I'm going to be less likely to win, and I never thought I'd say that about knights. Somehow this pawn in the center seems so weak that I still have a chance to take it from a draw to a win. So either way, if I would push the b4 pawn, then you'd be able to push his knight out. The only question is whether I can get the king there to do anything. He'll start to attack on this side, so let's try to force him to do something with it. He could check underneath, like on b3. That doesn't really change anything. This versus this, that would be giving him a passed pawn, so we may as well just do it here. You give the check, I go here, and then I'm trying to double threaten this, but it's very difficult to do. The one thing you don't have to worry about in a knight versus knight scenario is you can't get forked, because obviously the knight could fight back. Or there'll be some still rare extreme circumstance where you can, but somehow, like, it'll be an unleash So you're kind of trapped down there. In fact, you might be legitimately trapped, but not really. Let's just try to make this happen as far as the double attack. Can't move the king forward at all. I could maybe check it and try to push, but I don't see what he can even do with the knight. Like, you never want to put it on the edge of the board like that. You're threatening to take there, but I could check first, and then you're forced to go back. And I still can't take that, so I am just going to probably flag him. You won't be able to come up at all, which is the dream come true scenario for the king. So now here we could cover this. He could check. Okay, now he's maybe more in trap territory where he can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. So if I chase it down, the knight will defeat itself if you let it in the hands of an inexperienced player. I even thought he might be trapped before too. The king can't reach in time, so now you'll win the knight and then eventually you'll win the game, but why even worry about that? Because you can just flag him. I like that line. I said, like, you know, all these, like, you pose it like, oh yeah, video games will give you a false sense of achievement. Meanwhile, all these streamers, like, whatever, all the low-rated ones especially, they'll feel better than what they actually are, even in FIDE ratings. Like, oh, they're merely a 2,000 FIDE player, but because they flag people online, they'll be like 2,400 or something. It's like, wow, I'm gonna play Bullet and flag people, and I feel like I'm actually good. Or I'm actually like a top professional player, which I wouldn't be otherwise. Or now I'm going to somehow lose. Need to push G5. G5. Or yeah, like now he'll somehow win this though. This is covered anyway, so I don't even have to do anything with that. What? Okay, whatever. We'll take here and we should be able to hunt it down. Check again. I could even sack the knight because my king will be so far on the other side. Okay, we'll just leave that. As long as we take this out, we'll be fine. Like, whatever, dude. It's not going to be insufficient material. Can't anymore, but you said it earlier. Okay. No! Fuck. Yeah, missed win. No shit, the whole game was a missed win. Some quote by Magnus, 82, pad our accuracy in the end game. Well, I guess it's technically not a loss, but that was a very easily winnable end game because I won the knight, which had nothing to do with really what I was doing. Just him trying to do something with his own knight leads to that. Like, it's not even telling you to go for that. The knight is such a useless piece, it doesn't even want it. Like, you could have done so many things here. All I would have had to do is push the pawn, for example. And I probably didn't even have to sack for it. Just raise the pawn like once or whatever. Like, I'm already there. So yeah, I could just push. He wouldn't be able to come in. Is that Benjamin Feingold? Ben and Karen. The oldest GM in history, or at least the one to reach it at a very old age. And so I still have that one more life, I guess, right? I said I have 3 lives. But here you could take with the other pawn there. Old Stein's defense. I mean, what every Stein's defense would be old because he's one of the oldest chess players, period. Or the guy who wrote the original theory, which ruined the game forever, but not really. People even complained about it at the time. Like, how topical is that? Just the fact that he could take, I could take, he could take, I could still take. He could take, I could take, he could take, I could take, and it would still end up in the same general structure. So maybe I shouldn't worry about it, but just the fact that it's pinned seems dangerous. I'll play these same things a million times, but then I'll try to keep doing something different, which is obviously a bad idea. I did so well when I would just play like the same stale way every time. Which is exactly what any chess player would say. Like, when you play the most boring, stupid way, you win, because that's just the nature of the game, period. Now, you almost look like you're setting up for a fork scenario, but you're really not. Attack there. I would take, he would take... I don't really have to take anything, but I should. Or at least here you get like a trap. There's nothing he can take. We get rid of the light square bishop. His dark square bishop is in one of those weird positions that I always question. Whenever they're in like the center of the board. I would sometimes do that too, but it just doesn't make sense. You're hurting their diagonal so badly. Okay, I can just take that though. Or you could push this like you're threatening to take, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I hope you just pre-move the mate, because you think I'm such a clown that I would let you do that, so you just blunder the queen. Can't do anything with that. All I want to do is open this. You could bring this. And so that's just irritating. You could put this here. All I'm trying to do is make room for the dark square bishop, period. Like, development in chess is such an ugly, stupid experience, because you're trying to... It just almost feels like it's not meant to work that way. Right? You're so much as claustrophobia and just getting the pieces out of your own way. It's the perfect game. Also, 50+% of games played at the highest level, or any level, end in draws. Like, that's obviously a bad thing. So this, I don't even know. Take... You can do the trade if you want. You only have one knight, which means I have a 100% chance of winning, because I always win those kind of games. Where I at least trade one knight off the board, or he won't even do it. It's very rare that you have the bishop on a silver platter for the knight, and you don't take it. So now everything is good. You could try to double attack. Try to do this. I don't know what exact pawn structure I'm going for, but... You could go there, you'd be attacking this. I could go here and attack the queen. I would take, he would take, I'd be in check. It'd probably still be worse for me. If you attack the queen, I could simply take it. Whether it's worth it to take it, I can't really say. Maybe the bishop would be decent value here. This still wouldn't be an octopus knight for the time being. It could be good. This, my temptation to attack the queen is not ever limited. Always these cheeky, stupid threats that don't actually do anything. You just hope there's a 1% chance they blunder their queen, and that would save you so much time and effort and trouble. Attacking the rook, which doesn't do anything. You could attack this, which he would have still plenty of options of where to go, or maybe not plenty of options. You could dictate that he'll go there. Double attacking this, if he pins it down like that, could be very problematic. I would actually lose that, so the natural move would be to go here, but I'm sure it's not the right move, because now he's going to move the rook behind the bishop, and that'll cause all kind of problems. You could unleash the bishop. You could go here, and then I would take... You wouldn't be able to take... The number of games that I lose in like a super tight, close way, or like where I'm winning and then I lose, it's not like it's not a good thing, but it kind of shows you that obviously I just don't have the mental fortitude or consistency. I'm just kind of throwing because I'm overconfident, or there's just something wrong psychologically. It has nothing to do with actual whatever innate ability or something else. Not that you would need much innate ability at this level, but you go here. You attack the bishop. If it doesn't work, I'll attack the queen again, I guess. You could take, and if I take, then you could double take, but not on account of the queen. So letting me trade for the bishop would be actually okay. The only square I couldn't attack it on would be the... Wait. He would take, I would take, but then he would still... He would take... I would take, and then he would still take those. The real problem. So that is the same threat that I just saw and talked about, but I guess I just forgot about the whole prospect of him covering it. Now this would actually be a mate, so why don't we go for that? But if he's smart, he'll just trade, and then he'll just win. He'll be +2. Come on, it's possible they would just make a quick move, but not these players. They're just way too good. Take is okay. There's certain positions you just don't want to be in. Like, you don't want to ever have the queen and the bishop in line, or at least you want it to be facing the other way. Like where the queen is in front. Or, I mean, the queen is behind. This is kind of bad, too, because you could pin it down. You could push it out. I'm almost having trouble finding a spot for the knight. Let's see what he targets. For okay. Now this becomes really the worst case scenario, because you'd have to cover it with at least the king. Or at least if he takes there, that's fine. So we give up 2 pawns to acquiesce to the knight. So you'd have to basically blunder a rook outright, or at least give me a fork or something. There'd be no back rank possibility. There's no octopus knight seemingly in my future either. Even those I don't mind so much, although in principle they're very irritating. Like where a win turns into a draw, it still doesn't waste as much of your time. But even if I trade a knight somehow for a rook, it'll only still be I'll still be -2. What would that really change? Not threatening anything new. He can't really create a double stack. Can't take the knight. You can't go on the back rank, so it's actually still okay. It stops me from giving a check, but that check wouldn't have done much. Tries to threaten there. I could go there. Be nice if we could incorporate the knight somehow, but once again, it'll be the same pin scenario that I just escaped from narrowly. You never want to do this because now you can't move your thing. Okay, we could cover it like that. He could threaten it and try to come like there. Roy Lopez combined with Steinitz. What a combination. What even is Roy Lopez? It must be a player, but I just don't even know where that name comes from. Take. Like, leaving that as the only cover is not the greatest idea. You could raise that. That wouldn't help me at all. Kind of trying to pass turns with this. If he forces me to trade a pawn, that would be okay. Yeah, you can't really rely on this knight. Even though it's annoying and he can't trade down for it, there's no benefit to it, really. You would take, I could take with the knight. I don't really want to take it. He would take, I would take. He would take, I would still take. But it's not anything special, and we still won't be able to cover that. The act of pushing it out would, for example, give you the ability to take the pawn, guaranteed, which would also be like an octopus knight-esque pawn. Oh no, I blundered my pawn. I wonder if he'll take it, but he's too good for that. Like, how do you never make mistakes? Any of you, please. I'm the only one who's allowed to make a mistake. Thank you. Now, the fact that we get it for free is what makes this actually valuable. You see how you can't lose if you're me? I'm just too good for these people, but it doesn't matter because I don't know if I trust the knight here to be able to do this. Like, clearly you should be able to win in the hands of... If you lose this game, it's not just that's all for today. That's all for, like, your life. You should just stop playing chess. Not because it's necessarily even your fault, but because that's just the way the knight is. Like, you cannot tell me that this would be... Because, like, my king doesn't even have to move. It can just sit there. And then we can clean up the other side with the thing, which arguably is even hard to do now. Yeah, let's go in front of it. The most intuitive move ever. Now, you could first of all just take it, which is not even what I had in mind. I thought I could just deal with it and then focus on the other side. Now, you could try to take there. If he raises, I would take, he would take. Nothing here should be like a pass scenario. You try to take there. Anything is still going to get blocked out by the other pawns. He should almost try to move his king in a little bit. If he raises, I could take. He could take. Actually, I don't know exactly how to approach this. You would want it to be covering. He raises. I have to take, and then he'll be too far, won't he? I can't really calculate this. Let's see. He goes there. I take. Then I can't stop it still. What? He raises, I take. Then he takes, but then I still take. But he doesn't even have to take. He can keep going. So I take. He goes. Are you kidding me? I can't really wrap my head around it. I go here. What? I mean, I just said that myself, but... Is there some other... Okay. Like I said, you should just stop playing chess. I don't have the effort or the will to really think about what I'm doing. I just don't care enough to do it. Like, I literally just said that would happen. Forget it. Like, I do only surface level stuff because I don't feel like you should need to do more than that. But clearly you do, or he'll give me a royal fork. Let's see how much the knight can potentially mess up the mate, which probably is not much. Like, I wonder, what was the exact sequence I was supposed to do there? Just the simple act of pushing pawns was enough to beat the knight. Not because you have a passed pawn, not because of anything, but because the knight is the worst piece in the game, objectively. It's worse than pawns, because at least pawns have the upside potential of promoting. Try to get a threefold repetition. You'd think it could be possible. Because if he wants the king to go one place only. Or like a 50 move rule with the same scenario. Like, clearly you wouldn't know how to play this endgame exactly. But with no pawns on the board or anything, it could be questionable. Just you're going to give a royal fork at some point, so just do it. I can't give a check from here, but anywhere he comes in closer, I could just spam check. What, you're too lazy to figure it out too, so you'll do the same thing? Or that could be trouble. You'd give a check. I don't think it'll be a mate. Can't take. You would have to double attack this, which the pin is the best way to try to make that happen, but you pin, I move, give a check. You still don't want to get pushed out to the outside of the board though, basically. Pin, move. He probably did give a royal fork too at some point, but somehow I probably am not thinking long enough to find it. It's still not mate, but he's not letting me give checks as much now, but you wouldn't think he can mate, but he's still pushing me to the edge of the board in pretty much the correct way. Or it'll somehow lead to a stalemate because you... I don't know. It won't be made until you really get me in the corner, or like my horse will somehow block for you. I don't want to go like that far. You could give a check and try to take it, but I still don't think you'll be able to. Oh my god. He's gonna keep doing the same thing over and over. That's fine. Like, we've had multiple threefold repetition possibilities. Is there not a check I can possibly give? Problem is I can't move it at all now. That's the thing. He has a minute left. At least if he was the one down to 10 seconds, then I could do it. So he effectively traps the knight in that scenario anyway. Pretty impressive 69 troll challenge where I have to get 69 accuracy every game. That's why I'm playing like this, obviously. Let's see that weird endgame with the knight, but I don't know why I question it. Like, once you know the nature of how the knight works, you shouldn't rely on it for anything. Like, that's just ridiculous, dude. What other piece would fold that hard that he's actually winning? Like, or you won't even be winning much yourself. You have to play it exactly the right way. So I'm winning pretty good. You're supposed to take that one just right away. As soon as you get to there, he's winning. You should have just taken something else. But see, you could still raise it, so I don't get what I could do then. If I take, you take, and then I still can't get to it. I still don't see how you deal with that. What? Well, you're not supposed to take. Well, okay, you go here, then he... Oh, you're supposed to check. Okay. Buys you some time. And then that would allow you to take, and then go there. Okay, see you tomorrow.